What's up, guys? It's Jay back again. We're in another little quick shipping video where we're going to show you how to mail multiple cards, particularly more than 3. If you're using eBay or TCGPlayer, Troll and Toad, any kind of similar service, or you trade cards online, sell cards online, anything like that. As I said, 3 in my other video, you can do up to 3 cards in the method I showed in that, where I used a regular top loader, and I sealed the top loader and sent it in an A1 envelope just like that. That'll work it for up to 3 cards. If you have 3 cards, you might have trouble getting 3 cards in a penny sleeve inside one of those top loaders. So I suggest cutting the side of the top loader to make the cards fit, and then sealing it back up, and that'll protect the card just fine. They do have extra large and thick top loaders. You can see how much thicker that one is, and I don't suggest using these because they add rigidity, which is needed when you're sending cards. But the thing about it is these are too thick. To be as rigid as they are, they're too thick. You're not supposed to put something this rigid inside of a regular envelope when you're mailing it, because it interferes. It's supposed to be machinable, and this interferes with the machinability of the letter you're sending. And I've seen envelopes tore open because they couldn't machine properly. They made it to the destination, but the envelope was just about destroyed. So when you're shipping these cards, rigidity is important, but once you get to a thicker stack of cards or something like that within the envelope, you also want it to give a little bit. You want it to be rigid so a card just doesn't fold in half upon shipment. But you don't want so much thickness and rigidity that interferes with the machinability of the envelope and risks tearing the envelope. So, a general rule of thumb, like I said, if you got more than 3, I would do this method. And I gotta give credit to Rudy from Alpha Investments. If you watch YouTube and you're looking at videos about cards, you may have seen him already. He's really good for Magic the Gathering and talking about cards and finances and stuff. But I heard him mention this offhand sometime in one of his finance videos, and he was talking about how a stack of 4 to 8 cards supplies enough rigidity for the shipment to not worry about the cards getting bent up. So you could simply take 4 to 8 cards, stick them in a penny sleeve, and I would suggest folding that within some paper that fits the exact size of the envelope. You may have to cut some paper down to fit the exact size of the envelope. Tape the penny sleeve to that piece of paper so it doesn't move around in the package, and don't send it with a top loader. That's 4 to 8 cards. So let's say you've got more than 8 cards in the shipment. You're probably going to want to use longer envelope, typical size envelope, as opposed to the A1. This you can fit, at best you can fit 3 stacks of cards like that within the envelope. We're down here, as you can see it better. Or if you've only got 2 stacks worth, I do them side by side like this, and I seal them with, usually it's the packing slip. I have a packing slip here. If I don't have a packing slip, I'll just use just a blank piece of paper or something. And if that paper doesn't fit the envelope exactly, I'll cut it down to where it does. So yeah, right here I've got 10 cards, so it's too much for 1 stack. If this was just 8 cards, I would put them in the 1 penny sleeve. I would attach it to the packing slip or a piece of paper. Make sure the paper fits the envelope, and I would send it like that without a top loader inside the envelope. But since I've got more than 8, I'm going to divide them into 2 stacks. It's 10, so there's 2 stacks of 5. And something I like to do, and it's, I don't know, it just seems professional to me. If you're using packing slips and you're shipping orders for something like TCGPlayer, I've ordered the cards the way they're on the packing slip, so top to bottom of the list. I don't want to show any information here, but see the list of cards there. I'll go down through the list, and that's how I'll stack the cards. So I mean, if you go through the cards, that's the way the way you order them is the way you're gonna see them. But as I've showed you before, it's a good habit just to stick your cards in the sleeve upside down, even if it's not going to a top loader. It's just a good habit to have. And the reason you do that, well, typically with the top loader, the reason you do that is so you can cup it within the top loader. But that's just a habit I've developed doing every time I sleeve a card. It doesn't matter too much either way, you know what I mean? If you're not using a top loader. All right. Like I said, about 8 will fit in one of these. Doing 5 in each this time, and I'm gonna fix them to a piece of paper and write them in the envelope just like that. Just like I do with the top loader. Typically, what I'll do is I get a piece of paper, and just to close up the sleeve so the cards don't slide out, I'll fold the sleeve over and I'll put a piece of paper over it. Oh man, not my mic over. Fix that. Check, get some tape. Try to close the sleeve up. Put a piece of paper over it so the tape doesn't have a chance to touch the card. And seal it with tape. Tape on both sides to make sure you get the flap down. It can be a little tricky, dexterity wise, folding that and putting the paper on it, but crease it down. Should make it look right. And as I said before, the reason you do this is because you don't want the cards to slide out with a sleeve and shipment. Even though I'm going to wrap these cards in another piece of paper, they can still slide out within that piece of paper. The cards can still slide out within that piece of paper, so it's good just to take that measure to seal the penny sleeve down so cards don't slide out. Alright. Now the penny sleeves are sealed. Cards aren't gonna shift out during mailing, you know what I mean? That's an upside down sleeve. It's completely secured. Now the next step is you're attaching it to a piece of paper to keep the sleeves from moving around. Of course, you can't just throw them in there loose. Like I said, in a smaller amount of order, you'd have a top loader, and that'd take up a lot more space and keep the cards from shifting, or keep the order from shifting around. You don't really need to attach a top loader to a piece of paper. It does plenty of a good job itself. But when you're slipping them in just sleeves like this, you want to make sure your packing slip's going to fit. Of course, this envelope's really big, so it's going to fit it just fine. However, and this letter, I'm sure will go over an ounce, but I always cut down the page to exactly what I need. Yeah. Cut this bottom edge off. Cut the top edge off with the address because he knows where he lives. And it's got the order number and all the cards listed there. That's all he needs. He knows what he ordered. He knows where he lives. Alright. Of course, I didn't take any off the width because this is a wide envelope and you want to fill out as much of that width as you can. Okay, just here a little bit. And you're going to want to probably fold the cards up in it to where they're surrounded. So let's see, maybe put them in the middle, something like that, a little bit. Something like that, just to start it out. And you're going to tape them down. You don't want to move them around in the package. Alright. Now you're going to, like I said, you have to make it fit the envelope, so you can lay your envelope down on the table. And it can be your working surface there just to see. But you want to fill out as much of the envelope as you can, so don't fold it down too much. Try to fold it down just right so it just fits the envelope, and that'll keep it from shifting around. See, that'll pretty much fill it out top to bottom, and it's not going to shift around when you put it down in the envelope. And of course, before you put anything in the envelope, you want to fill it out. Really quick, your name's the first line in the top left. Second line in the top left is your address. If you have an apartment number or unit number, you can put it on that line, or you could put it on the next line just by itself if you wanted to. After your address and apartment number, you put the city or town you live in, comma, the abbreviation for your state, and then your zip code. And the ship to address, you start writing it halfway across the envelope and halfway down, starting right in the middle, and you fill out the information the same way, and it'll fill up the bottom right corner. And that's how you fill up an envelope. Real simple. Put your stamp in the top corner. If your envelope is going to weigh more than an ounce, you have to put extra postage on there. They have extra ounce stamps out there. I think they're worth like 15 cents a piece, and that's the best value. Because your only other choice is putting 2 stamps, and that's a lot more expensive than putting a regular stamp in an extra ounce stamp. So we'll see how much this weighs, but I'll probably need an extra ounce stamp on this one. I'm not going to fill out the dress and stuff right now. I'll do that here in a second when the video's done. But as you can see, pretty much the paper fits it perfectly at that point. Then, like I said, you'll already have your back filled out, and then you'll just seal the envelope and mail it out. And it's not going to, being that the paper fits it, the paper's not going to shift around, being that you tape the cards to the packing slip, the sleeves aren't going to shift around, and being that you sealed in the sleeve with a piece of paper and taped it down, the cards aren't going to shift out of the sleeve. So everything's completely secure. It's thick enough to supply the rigidity needed to keep the cards from getting bent up, and they're also not too thick with these extra thick top loaders that's giving you too much rigidity and too much thickness to where it's making it hard to process through the machinery. So that's how you ship multiple cards. Like I said, if you've only got the one stack, let's say you've got 8 cards, do it the same way. Just make your piece of paper big enough, just enough to fill out the A1 envelope. Attach the one sleeve filled with up to 4 to 8 cards to it, and it'll work the exact same way. And like I said, with this big envelope, you can do it with just 2 stacks. But let's say you've got, I don't know, like what, 24 cards. That'd be I guess the max you would do in one of these envelopes, because you'd have 3 stacks side by side stood up, and that's how you fit 3 in there, and you can put 8 in each stack, so 24. Shipping them like this, 8 times 2, 16, and within one of these, max 8. So that's how it's done. Pretty simple. Like I said, gotta give props to Rudy for putting the idea in my head. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for hanging out and watching this shipping video, and we'll do more in the future. If it's helped you at all, hit like, subscribe, notification bell, all that other junk, And I've been doing other shipping videos, so check those out, and I'll probably do a few more. But thank you guys again. We'll see y'all next time.